Hello, everyone. Bill Rentschler in the 1011 Now streaming studio. Hope everyone is having a nice Monday afternoon. Again, feels a little bit like summer out there. We'll kind of go through a couple different seasons as we head over the next week or so. Just the next week. Again, we're going to kind of go from summer today, but kind of feeling like winter by the end of the week. And that is why we're going to talk with Josh Planos today from the Better Business Bureau, because he always has the most timely topics that we like to talk about. He does a great job of coming up with some, again, really good subjects, and you nailed it again right on the head this week, Josh. The colder weather is arriving. I'm going to lay the blame at your feet, though, because you sent this email on Friday. You know, we kind of say Fridays, what are we going to talk about? And you said, well, let's get ready for the colder weather. And now here we are, boom. There is a rain snow icon currently on the 7-day forecast. For Lincoln, there's just a snow icon on the 7-day forecast for some parts of northern and western Nebraska, Josh. And usually I get the blame for this, but now I'm blaming you.
Happy to take the blame at my feet. Today certainly does not feel like fall.
No.
I have no idea what season it feels like, but it's lovely, and I will be enjoying that very shortly. But yeah, I mean, anytime the temperatures change, there's a laundry list of home maintenance tasks to tackle before the next season shifts. And in Nebraska, you can expect that season to shift rather quickly. So I'm glad that we could have a conversation about all the things we need to work on.
100%. And again, some areas of the state have obviously already seen maybe a hard freeze or at least a freeze, a light freeze. We're still kind of waiting in Lincoln and southeastern and parts of east central Nebraska. I'm not sure up about Omaha. So some of these things folks may have already done, unhooking the hoses and bringing the hoses inside. But there, like you said, there's a whole laundry list of kind of items you need to check off. And again, for a lot of folks who may be first-time homeowners, you know, when I first moved into my home, I wasn't sure of what the whole list was. So kind of take us through, again, the Josh Planos winterizing your home top, 8 things you need to do.
Well, my list would start with gutters, which I've been delaying for far too long. But the first step, right, is to clean them, right? Because a buildup of leaves and other debris cause those gutters and downspouts to not drain correctly. And that's really problematic, right? Because improper draining can make water spill over your gutters. That can lead to foundation and basement damage to your fascia boards. In the wintertime, ice dams can form that can let snow melt underneath your shingles. So if you can, get on that ladder, clean those gutters to ensure they're working properly. You can also hire a contractor if need be, but you want to make sure that those are operating very efficiently, because a lot of those impacts are not plain to the eye, and but they can be literally foundational to the home. So you want to make sure that the gutters are operating as well as they possibly can this time of year.
All the wives who might be watching just poked their husbands and said, see, hire someone to get up on the ladder and clean the gutter. Again, I have fallen off the roof onto the deck, so it wasn't like a long fall, but I was up cleaning the gutters, cleaning the roof, and I took a tumble. So hire someone if you need to.
Absolutely. Worst case scenario, everybody who has ever been on a ladder has had thoughts of what happens if a stiff breeze comes, or if I lose my balance. But in that case, right, you can always hire a contractor. There are many people who are chomping at the bit to get up on your roof.
And that's going to be something, unfortunately, again, it's a chore that no one likes to do or hire out to do. But that's going to be a multiple time thing probably over the next week or two. Again, a lot of leaves are already on the ground, but there's still plenty more leaves to fall.
Well, without a doubt. If you are assessing whether or not your back can withstand multiple experiences with the rake, you might want to wait until all of the leaves are down. But certainly as quickly as you possibly can, ensure that your gutters are in a good place. We also recommend, right, that the windows and doors that you have are inspected to monitor for things like air leakage. Adding caulk and weather stripping will help prevent cold air leakage into your home. It prevents spiders and insects from entering in the off chance that you don't have a cat who might be able to handle that for you. But you can also check where pipes and wires enter your home to monitor for that airflow, because that's going to leave your furnace working double duty if you aren't able to prevent any of that air from coming into the home.
Yeah, that's not just something, again, to try and keep your home warmer. That's something that can help you save money. I think as soon as I became a dad, I started doing the typical dad thing. And, I'm not paying to keep the whole neighborhood cool. If the AC's on, keep the windows closed. And in the wintertime, I'm not paying to heat the whole neighborhood. So those are some things that, I'm not a contractor. I don't know when the best time of year would be for a window replacement or something like that. But if you check now, again, you'd rather do it now than do it in December or January.
Just like tires, right? There are a ton of sales that are going on right now because these companies don't want you to be left holding the bag when the air is coming into your home, or the windows are not working properly. This is the time to make those replacements so that you're not caught out in a stiff breeze and you have no means of securing the heat of your home. So make these decisions now so you don't have to make them later, and frankly, so you can get a better sense of what your budget's going to look like for fun, more exciting things like holiday shopping.
100%. The next thing on your list, I don't like it. I'd never like to do it because I'm afraid something horrible is going to happen. But call the heating folks and get that HVAC system looked at. Again, now is also a good time, again, if you've shut the AC off, to cover up the AC outside with a tarp or something like that as well.
Yes, that is a good point. According to the U.S. Department of Energy, preventative care can help save you up to 25% in energy costs. If you've ever seen a bill pertaining to HVAC, you know that 25% of that is a pretty significant figure. There are a lot of heating contractors near you that can help you professionally service your heating unit. Having that system serviced and the filters replaced will ensure that your system works efficiently now and into the future. And now is that time of year where you want to ensure that furnace, that HVAC system is ready to handle what is coming up, because all you need to do is look at this week, right? With what it is that you're asking your HVAC to provide you. There's a lot of expectation in Nebraska, and you want to make sure that it's up for the job.
It's only going to be about like a 50-degree swing for high temperatures this week. Mid 80s today, potentially to the, mid 30s by the weekend, and feeling even colder than that. But yeah, so and again, HVAC systems are hugely expensive, and sometimes ignorance is bliss. But again, do it now versus doing it in the middle of a huge cold snap, in January or February, when those guys are going to charge you even more to come out and fix something like that.
And it'll be twice as stressful, right? Because it'll be in a particular time of year when you want everything going according to plan, the best that you can control. Now is the time to make those calls.
Another thing, and again, this is something I'm not sure a lot of people know exists. I didn't until I became a homeowner. But your ceiling fans actually spin both directions. Can you kind of take us a little into that?
They do. This was also news to me when I purchased a home. But in the colder months, you want your fan to move the warm air down, right? Which means that those blades need to turn clockwise. I believe they're probably turning counterclockwise at this particular time, but you can actually adjust those. Typically there's a pull or a very quick fix. It might even be just a quick YouTube search away, but you want to make sure that you're pushing that warm air down, provided that you have a multi-level home, to ensure that you're getting the most out of your ceiling.
Yeah, warm air rises. Again, for anyone who's ever slept on the top bunk of a bunk bed, it's always a little bit warmer on top. Usually, I think it's just a little switch, a little pull switch, like you said, kind of on the base of the fan, but you pull that pull switch and it will reverse the direction of the fan, and it really does make a big difference. I'm always surprised every season, whether it's spring or fall, when I pull that little pull switch, I'm like, oh wow.
Yeah, it's amazing the way the gravity works for us in some cases, better than others. We also have a recommendation this type of year. We make this pretty frequently, so it's not specific necessarily to October, but it is important around the winter months. But we highly recommend that folks review their emergency plan. This is really helpful for families, right, to get on the same page, whether it be in terms of communication or how folks are going to navigate the things that can happen this time of year, including ways in which the family plans to stay warm, ways in which the family plans to communicate with one another. If you need to evacuate for any particular reason, I mean, typically that's around tornado season. But you want to make sure that you have these procedures in place, and you can discuss the ways in which your family can be safe this month and every month. But this is just a really good opportunity to, again, evaluate something that you hope you don't need. But if you do need it, you want to make sure that you've done the legwork to ensure it goes as smooth as possible.
And that's something, again, as a weather, coming from the weather side of things, that's, again, we touch on all the time. We would rather have folks make the detailed plan, practice it once or twice a year and never have to use it. But again, it's until you actually need it and you don't have it, you're like, shoot, how am I going to get in touch with, my mom, my dad, my sister, my brother? So again, that's a hugely important thing. And like you mentioned, probably more for severe weather season, but it was, let's see, 26 years ago, and probably 4 days from now was the October snowstorm of '97. I lost power. We lost power at my family's house, and we had to go stay with my aunt. What are you going to do in a situation like that? Is there someone's home that, has a fireplace that you can, go there to try and keep warm? Which also leads me to my next point. We just got it done recently, but a lot of folks are going to be burning in their fireplace. Make sure you get that fireplace inspected, get it cleaned out before the winter arrives.
Yeah, nothing says holidays, like a fireplace, and nothing says a muted holiday experience like a fireplace that doesn't work. So
Yep.
You want to make sure, right? And there's a lot that can go wrong, right, when it is not serviced or evaluated. It sounds perfectly straightforward in theory, but in reality, there's a lot of different variables there. So you want to make sure that this season is in no way muted. It's as fulfilling as it can be. And one way to do that is to, again, get all of these, these items on your checklist crossed off before the holiday season starts. So that way, that you're in for the experience that you're really after.
I'm always really bad. We've had a couple fires in our fireplace already this season, and I'm always really bad. I'm like, is the flue open or is the flue shut? I'm like, there's a little bit of smoke coming out. I think it's open, and then I'll pull the handle, and then even more smoke comes out. I'm like, okay, wait, no. Now it's closed. So knowing how to operate if you've never had a fire in your fireplace, knowing how that all works, again, all very good things to do. Make sure you get it cleaned out. Again, it could be bird's nests up there or something else, and you don't want that catching fire because, again, that would, like you said, lead to a not-so-special holiday season for you and your family.
There are even now 24-hour live streams of a fireplace in the off chance that you don't have a fireplace at all and you just want to, think about what it would be like to have one. That's a very safe method to go, but also probably not as enjoyable.
No.
Our last tip, I will say, is to backtrack to the folks who don't want to get on that roof or don't want to handle those leaves or don't know how to effectively monitor their HVAC system. I know I don't. You want to make sure that you are at least working with someone who is proven, who is trustworthy. That is precisely why the Better Business Bureau is around, right? So our tip is to check for BBB accredited pros if you need to hire for maintenance. BBB.org, this is precisely why our site exists. It's to connect consumers with trustworthy businesses. So if you need HVAC, if you need a fireplace, if you need a general contractor, whatever it may be, look into whether or not that company exists on our site. Right. As a reminder, being BBB accredited means that the company has agreed to adhere to our standards for trust. That covers everything from things like honest advertising policies to honoring promises to fulfilling all competency and trade licensing requirements. Presumably, you would want all of that from a business before you enter into any sort of arrangement with the business. So do a little bit of research and ensure that you're working with a company that is deserving of your trust. So that way this experience can be as pain-free as possible.
And then I just thought of another one because we just had it done, but getting that hot water heater flushed and getting that taken care of, nothing worse than having to take a cold shower when it's already cold outside. So there's probably even more stuff we're not even thinking about, Josh. It's a never-ending list.
Just scratching the surface.
Yeah, it really is. All right. Anything else before we let folks go today?
Reach out if you have any questions. Again, if there's something that you're hearing that is something you don't have a lot of experience with, it's okay to reach out. Certainly, you can reach out to the BBB if it's something that might involve a contractor, might involve a company. But ask questions now so you're not asking questions later, especially around the holidays. This is a really good time again to just evaluate what it is that you have and what it is that needs servicing.
And I'll ask you real quick before we let everyone go. When we spoke last, we talked about kind of fake package delivery scams and some deep fakes and things like that. And you guys were having a webinar, which I think was just a couple days ago now. I think it was on the 19th. How did the webinar go?
Oh, good. Thank you for asking.
Yeah.
I thought there was a lot of helpful information there. You can check it out on our YouTube page if you weren't able to attend at the time, but there was a lot of helpful information for both business owners and consumers to, again, be on the lookout for what is, unfortunately, the new frontier of scams, which is simply not knowing if whether the communication you're receiving over the phone, over text, is legitimate. How do you know? Was really more or less the takeaway for I think a lot of what it is that we were discussing. And it's sad that this is even something that we need to consider. But with how rapidly technology is changing things, it sometimes feels like we'll never keep up. But it's also, creating concerns that we never would have considered 5-10 years ago. But it's something to be on the lookout for now, because unfortunately there are significant price tags associated with, making a risk on behalf of someone you think you can trust, and that person, doesn't have your best intentions in mind. So, it's not to scare anyone. It's just to let folks know that there is something out there, and it's something to be, aware of as technology becomes more and more a part of our everyday lives.
100%. So, again, you can get that on your guys' YouTube page if you're interested in getting some more information on that. Josh, as always, thank you for making my Monday just a little bit brighter.
That is the nicest thing anyone's ever said to me. Thank you, Bill. I appreciate you as always for having me.
Awesome. All right. Again, that was Josh Planos with the Better Business Bureau. Appreciate him as always for jumping on for our Consumer Safety Spotlight segment every Monday right around 2 p.m. So again, thanks everyone for tuning in, for watching. Again, as always, keep it tuned to 1011 both on air and online for all the latest news, weather, and sports. And until next time, we'll see you later.